I want to talk about my favorite artists today because literally none of you asked. So this is going to be a little bit different than my other, like, just me sitting here talking videos, in that it's not a story, it's more of a discussion where I talk about music I like, and then you can't really interact with it at all because it's a video that was pre-recorded. So it's not really a discussion, it's more of just me rambling, but you get the general idea. So, like most people, I like to listen to music, and I like to listen to a lot of it, and I like to listen to it all the time. Over the years, I've built like this kind of repertoire of artists that I listen to pretty consistently whenever they put out new stuff or when I like to listen to their old stuff. And I'm not claiming to be some kind of aficionado, you know, all that shit's kind of subjective. I don't know any more about music than the next guy, and honestly, I'm probably underqualified if anything to just be sitting here rambling about music. I just listen to a little bit of just about everything, and so I wanted to kind of get into the things that I like to listen to because I never get to talk about music. So I thought this would be interesting and fun. Now, as I go through these artists that I've just thrown onto a list in a notepad document along with the rest of the scripts for this video, I'm going to try and include a couple clips from songs of theirs so you can kind of get a feel for them, and I'm going to try and toe the line between copyright infringement and not copyright infringement. So if it seems like it cuts off really weird, that's all it is. I just don't want to get the video copyright claimed, even though it's going to happen anyway, and probably by a lot of different people. I want to start today talking about Garden. Kind of fits into like the emo rap genre is where I would put him. If I had to put a genre on him, I'd put him right around emo rap. Been listening to him for years. Really like his sound. Couple personal favorites of mine of his would be Hope Again. She makes me feel like I'm in my head. Don't Fall Asleep. Contact. But yeah, I've just been listening to Garden for the past couple of years, and those are just a couple of the songs of his I listen to pretty consistently. But yeah, that's about all I got on Garden, so I think the next artist I had on my list was 50 Landing. Now, 50 Landing doesn't have a really big discography, but it scratches some bit of nostalgia deep inside of me that I just, like, keep coming back and listening to all of his stuff over and over again. I just vibe with it. It's just really good. But out of 50 Landing stuff, I'd say my top three in no particular order would be Rebirth, I won't fly away from this rebirth, Cycle, gray skies always coming on, my running circles in the chest in a marathon, and Growing. This is growing up and I don't know what to think. Yeah, next one on the list is Neutral Milk Hotel, and I know, oh, they're so indie. Have you heard of this really underground indie group that's Neutral Milk Hotel? I bet you've never heard of them. Everyone always talks about Airplane Over the Sea, and they always forget about On Avery Island, which has a couple of my favorite songs from them of all time, including the what I found to be absolutely hilarious Song Against Sex, and the first one tore a picture of a dead and hanging man, Naomi, and then Three Peaches. Let's see what we got next. Oh yeah, Capstan. So looking at their Spotify bio, they define themselves as pop punk, prog rock, and post-hardcore all kind of mixed together, which kind of makes sense. I just call them punk. They've got a couple really solid albums. I actually have two of them signed by all the band members that I got at a concert of theirs last year. It wouldn't have been last year, would it? I think it would have been the year before. It wasn't February though, so I guess maybe it was 2020? I think it was 2020. I think it was one of the last concerts I got to go to, if not the last concert I went to before all the COVID shit started happening. But my favorites from them are probably Elysian Fields, Invisible Fences, and Hideaway. Let me be your hideaway. Next artist I have is probably one of the most influential artists, at least for me personally, that I've ever listened to. I love all of his shit, and it's all really solid all the way through, album after album, single after single, just really good, solid releases. And that artist would be Crywolf. I can't just pick three, I'm gonna pick more than three. But anyways, Halloween 1987. Stay, Windswept, but in my head, I am still there. Coyote. And St. Patrick.
Give me something to think about. That's not the shit in my head.
So the next artist on my list is Eden. And I found him right around the same time I found Crywolf because they both, well, I guess Eden had a feature on Dysphoria. And I really liked that song, so I actually went and found Eden and started listening to a lot of his shit back when End Credits had just been released. And that album was really, really good. As far as like a top 3 though, I would have to say probably End Credits.
It doesn't matter who we are.
Drugs.
'Cause I'm a fucking mess sometimes.
And Untitled.
All you wanted was surviving for the love.
I was actually going to go see him in concert in May last year, but then, you know, same thing as when I was talking about Capstan, you know, a certain virus had to ruin everything for everyone. My next pick on this list is probably going to be a little bit basic, but you know what? I don't care. It's Odesza, specifically the album In Return. I don't know if you guys know this, but I love this fucking album. It's such a good album, start to finish. I actually have an MP3 of it downloaded on my phone from before I started paying for Spotify. That I would just play this album on loop over and over again when I was just walking around campus or whatever. But if I've got to pick a top 3 for Odesza, I would probably put Bloom, Say My Name, but specifically the Jai Wolf remix, and then If There's Time. Next one on the list is Lil Darky, which is about as far away from Odesza as you are going to get. I know more of his shit is on SoundCloud than is on Spotify normally, but just based off what Spotify, I'm going to pick my top 3 just because that's what I have in front of me, and that's what I'm going to go off of. As far as the top 3 goes, I'd have to go with Genocide Part 4. Rap music. And AMV. With an honorable mention going to the Meth Head freestyle, but there's just so much going on in that song that I can't really call it just Lil Darky, which is why I didn't put it in the top 3. But Meth Head freestyle fucking slaps. Oh boy, I'm going all over the place today because the next one on the list is Breakins. If I had to pick a top 3 for Breakins, I would probably pick Ginger Tea.
Get off that screen and let it go.
Third Quarter.
And I know it's my time.
And Sunder.
But I don't need your help. I do it by myself.
Next one is 100 Gex. Most of you who know anything about me by now know that I love 100 Gex. It's not really a secret. I don't exactly just go crawl under my desk and just hide in my little ball curled up listening to 100 Gex blasting through my headset. But yeah, 100 Gex was kind of like my introduction to hyperpop, which I've just started really loving as a genre. It's just absolutely amazing. And if I had to pick a top 3, obviously, you know, fucking Money Machine has to be in there. Hand Crushed by a Mallet. And I'm kind of torn between number 3 being Sympathy for the Grinch.
Never gave me a goddamn thing that I want. I was good every day, but he didn't give a fuck.
Or 800 Decibel Cloud, but specifically the Fish Center live version. Next is Ghostmane. Anti-Icon was a really good album, and outside of that, I liked a lot of the shit he was releasing before he dropped Anti-Icon. The more I listen to Anti-Icon, the better it gets. But to pick a top 3, Vagabond, Nihil, and AI. This next artist I've been getting into a lot more lately, and that would be Cal Scrubby. But a top 3 for Cal Scrubby would probably be Pause,
Break bread with the same motherfuckers down to break laws.
Kobe with the Fro,
I try giving y'all time, but I can't wait. Unsigned, not a contract, not a handshake.
and then of course Money by Drugs interlude because it's fucking hilarious and I think it's really funny.
Don't tell me money don't buy happiness when it so happen that money buy drugs.
Next artist on the list is the Decemberists. But they've been putting out shit for like forever pretty much. Like all the way back to like at least 2002 with Castaways and Cutouts, which I absolutely loved, all the way up to I'll Be Your Girl, which I've picked and chosen a couple songs off that album that I liked, although it wasn't my favorite. But when you put out that much stuff over the course of like 2 decades minimum, you know, there's going to be something in there that you're not going to be a fan of. You know, it's not everything's going to be for everybody when you've been putting out albums that consistently that long. My top 3 for them would probably be The Bachelor and The Bride.
But I sent the bachelor to the bride.
Don't Carry It All.
Don't carry it all, don't carry it all.
And On the Bus Mall.
With kings among runaways on the bus mall.
This is one of those ones that's kind of just off the rails. I have no idea how I even found out that they existed, but Fake Type? They're like a Japanese electro swing project that I happened to stumble across somehow in some fashion, and then I just started listening to a whole bunch of their shit, and it actually slaps. My top 3 for them would probably be Devil's Wedding, Fake Fake Fake, and Nightmare Parade. No idea how I found a Japanese electro swing artist. Next one up, I wouldn't be surprised if just about everybody who even had a remote chance of seeing this had heard of him before, is Joji. Not to be confused with Pink Guy, who is not on this list for a very specific reason. My top 3 for Joji would probably be Will He?
I don't need to know. I just wanna make sure you're okay.
Plastic Taste, and Daylight.
Sun's up, I don't really wanna fight the daylight.
But honestly, just about anything by Joji I will sit down and vibe with because it's just really good fucking music, let's be honest. And finally, to round out the list, we have Arai Tasuku. Arai Tasuku is like a Japanese dark artist that I've been following for a while, and he's put out some really interesting, really cool stuff. Among the interesting stuff he's put out are my 3 favorites: Dear Alice, specifically the Rainy Days version.
You take my breath away.
Zero. And Speak Roughly to Your Little Boy. This is gonna take me 7.5 years to finally go through and find everything for this, just to put it up and watch it get shredded for copyright infringement. This whole thing kind of got derailed a fair amount. Go ahead and go check those guys out if you haven't heard of them before, which most of them you've probably heard of before. But, you know, they're still cool. Go give them a look-see. How shit is my music taste? Tell me. I want to hear it. Bye!